Inauguration Eve here in Washington, D.C., just hours away from starting its crucial first 100 days. Some would-be Democratic leaders are declaring war. When the men and women running to lead the Democratic National Committee were asked if the party should work with the new president or work to resist the new president, their responses were pretty much unanimous.
Everything I fought for in my life is at stake with Donald Trump in the White House.
As we are healing as a party, we need also to make sure that the American people can look to the Democratic Party to mount a massive resistance.
This question of whether we fight back right away or not, that question has been answered. He has already started to institute a right-wing program, so of course we have to fight. We need to, as a party, stop with all of the demonization of each other and focus on the real war right now, and that is against Donald Trump.
What we can't do is go after him every time. You can't meet him tweet for tweet. I think we've got to be surgical. We've really got to understand also that you don't go to a knife fight with a spoon. I wouldn't go tweet for tweet, but I think we can hit him between the eyes with a 2x4.
Well, there you go. Mark Thiessen joins us now, former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor, and Neera Tanden, a former advisor to Hillary Clinton. Thank you very much to both of you for being here.
Martha.
So,
Great
Neera,
to be with you.
Great to have you. Let me start with you. You watch all that. Is that healthy for the nation?
Sure. I actually think that Donald Trump has taught us that, you know, a little good combat is really good for the country. I mean, when Donald Trump is tweeting at us and the country that, you know, Happy New Year, even to the losers who voted against me, I mean, he gives a little bit of a give and take. So I think, truthfully, you know, people can joke about fighting or not fighting, but we've seen this week a look at some of the president-elect's nominees, from Betsy DeVos to Steve Mnuchin, people who've foreclosed on people. We have a Treasury Secretary nominee who's basically profited during the foreclosure crisis by foreclosing on people who were hardworking Americans.
Well, you know, they disputed all of those points that you just made, point for point, and tried to explain why they felt that they were being misrepresented in those hearings.
I mean, he did not dispute that he actually foreclosed on people. He foreclosed on hundreds.
I don't want to get into a side discussion on Mnuchin, but he did give his own explanation of how he sees what was the process was in working out some of those loans during that foreclosure process. However, the question is about whether or not you give someone at least a teeny bit of a honeymoon period, as the president advised everyone in the country to do. Mark?
Yeah, well, you know, one of those guys is saying, let's stop demonizing each other and let's start demonizing Donald Trump. I mean, this is how you start out. I mean, let's take a snapshot of the state of the Democratic Party. They have the smallest congressional minority since 1929. They've lost under Barack Obama, lost 60 congressional seats, 1,000 state legislative seats, 30 state legislative chambers, a dozen governorships. The Republicans now control the House, the Senate, tomorrow the White House, soon conservative majority in the Supreme Court, and half the states in the country. The Democratic Party is in a state of crisis. And their response to having been beaten so resoundingly is, let's put a 2x4 in this guy's face. They should be trying to work with the president, give him a chance, say, here's areas where we can climb.
When Romney lost, there was this sort of, we need to get to, Republicans said, you know, we messed up. We got to figure out why we're not connecting with the American people. We need to, you know, have a come to Jesus moment and figure out what we're doing wrong. Don't Democrats need to say, you know, perhaps some of the policies that have been instituted are the reasons that so many people migrated from voting for Obama to voting for Donald Trump, and ask yourself why?
Democrats definitely should look at what happened in this election. I absolutely agree with that. The difference between Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton is that Hillary Clinton won 2.8 million more votes than Donald Trump. Mitt Romney lost millions more than Obama.
So you're saying you're okay, that they're actually, you don't have a problem with the people in the country, that they're with you?
No, what I'm saying is that we should actually absolutely figure out why we lost voters who went from Obama to Donald Trump. Absolutely.
But those people who did that, Neera, when they hear this resist movement, they're going to say, wait a minute, I voted for Barack Obama twice, and now I want something different. So if you guys want to win me back, then you got to win me back.
Is that why Donald Trump has the lowest approval rating of any incoming president ever in history?
So
is it because
they're
people
sticking with their story?
Is it because people are really popular? His policies are really popular?
The problem with the Democratic Party right now is that there are 0 electoral votes in the state of denial. Okay, in this election, there are 5 states. There are 5 states that voted twice for Barack Obama and then voted for Donald Trump. Their message to those voters, they lost those voters. Those were Democratic voters, voted twice for Barack Obama. They lost them, and their message to them is, we didn't hear you.
No,
the message to those voters should be, we heard you. Absolutely it is.
No, our message is we're going to stand up for principles where we agree with them.
Elected.
You know, Donald Trump campaigned on draining the swamp. So Democrats are saying, hey, drain the swamp and put forward nominees that actually are going to change Washington, not foreclose on people or be a billionaire.
That's exactly what these people are going to do. When you bring in people from the private sector who understand how businesses are run, they're going to drain the swamp in Washington.
And you know what's odd about that? And what's odd about it is he has very low approval rating for these people. So that's what we're saying. We're saying you had rhetoric in this campaign. Let's just hold you accountable to that rhetoric.
Rallying the American people is going to rally the American people around Donald Trump. People who even don't like Donald Trump, who are not huge fans of Donald Trump. They look at people with the safety pins and everything like that.
We're going to see what happens. Neera,
let's see if it gets more popular.
Good to have you here.
Thanks,
Mark,
Martha.
thank you very much. Thanks, you guys. So while we wait for